Hey everyone, just a moment here. Today we're going over my budget Fiendsmith slash Yubel deck profile. This is for the post ban list slash crossover breakers. This is a pretty interesting deck. It's a little affordable now, especially since Phantom got hit to one copy. It's a little bit more affordable now to play. Anyway, starting off, I'm on the one copy of the OG Yubel, the one Terran card, and the two copies of Spirit. This is pretty much the Yubel ratios. You could honestly cut Spirit down to just one copy. Two is obviously a luxury, just because we want to have as much space as possible, and this engine doesn't take up a ton of space. This is the absolute minimum of you need, is just the three. That second Spirit is literally just for... it comes up occasionally, it's cool, that's why I'm playing a second one. It does get sided out sometimes. Next up, we're also on 3 copies of Lotus. This is your play starter. You're playing several copies of starters. We'll get more into that later on. We're also on the 1 copy of Squirmer. I was on 2. I think 2 is cool. It's just more flexible. You can do more stuff with it. But you really only need 1, which is why we're just playing the 1. We're on 2 Dark Beckoning Beast. It's a cool card. It's fine. You could probably play this thing at 3. I think it's perfect at 2 in my opinion. And we're also on the 1 copy of Chaos Summoning Beast. This is your other thing that you search off of your opening. If you don't open Lotus, then you want to get to Chaos Summoning Beast, so you can get the second normal summon off of your Dark Beckoning Beast to eventually get to your Lotus, which we'll get to that later on. We're on the 1 copy of Engraver. Again, a little bit of a budget package with the Engraver stuff. We only need the 1. And of course, we're also on Shavara. Moving on to Spell Traps, we're of course on 3 copies of Throne. Crazy starter, crazy extender. This card is absolutely nuts. We're also on 2 copies of Pain. You really only need 1. I'm on 2 just for like the grind game. Sometimes it comes up. It's cool. We're also on 3 copies of Opening, of course. This is now at 3. This card is really cool. It makes it to where if you don't open Lotus, you can still get to Lotus. We're also on 1-for-1, Terra, Call By, and the 1 Escape from the Unchained. I played this over Chamber. I'm not a big fan of Chamber. I think Escape is way more interesting. Hand traps, we're on a lot of hand traps. We're on 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, 3 Mortar, 3 Nibiru. A lot of hand traps here. I think these are really high impact hand traps. It is a little difficult to hand trap Rizio. I'm also not super knowledgeable of the new matchups of Rizio and Malice and what they really can do. I do know it's a little difficult to hand trap Rizio, just because they are pretty much just like Sprite rank 4. But yeah, that's main deck. Moving on to Extra. We're on the 1 copy of Phantom, of course. Necroquip. We're an Aerial Eater. Caesar, Lars, I'm going to be honest, you don't even need Lars anymore. This is very cuttable. This is just a flex spot pretty much. There's sometimes where I want to make Lars over Caesar. Like very few games it comes up, so that's why I'm on Lars. But it's been like 2 or 3 games this card's come up. We're on the Varadros. Closed Moon, Requiem, Sequence. Sequence, you use it to make your Eater, the Foolish your Lotus. Wanyama, Rage, Muckraker, SP, Phoenix, and of course Access Code Talker for game. Muckraker we actually use if we don't open up Lotus, which is cool. So that card actually has a use now. Moving on to side deck. Side deck's like just what I've built. 3 Ogre, 3 Talents, or 3 Thrusts, and then we have 3 Talents. I'm not super into these talents. They're okay. Duster, 2 Lightning, 2 Dark Ruler, 1 D-Barrier. D-Barrier is still a really strong card. Especially against Razzie, I'll just call XZs, and they really can only go through their Fiendsmith lines. So anyway, assuming that we don't open up Lotus, we can just start with like 4 dead cards, and then let's say we get like a Dark Beckoning Beast or some shit. We can either get Dark Beckoning Beast in our opener, or we can also get Opening. Either way, we're going to be adding the Dark Beckoning Beast off of that. So for shits and giggles, we're going to normal summon our Dark Beckoning Beast. Activate the effect to add an opening to our hand. Going to activate that opening. Activate the effect to search us a copy of Chaos. Second normal summon Chaos Beast. We link these two off for a copy of Moon. Link that copy off for a Requiem. Requiem, tribute as cost to special summon our Engraver from deck. Then we're going to Requiem equip to Engraver. Send those two copies to the graveyard in order to get ourselves a copy of Necroquip. Then Engraver is going to shuffle back the Closed Moon to special itself. After that, we're going to link these two off specifically for Sequence. Sequence is going to fusion summon our Arrow Eater by cycling back the two Beckoning Beast. Summon Arrow Eater. Arrow Eater on summon will Foolish the Lotus from our deck. Then we're going to activate our opening to discard any card from our hand in order to summon that Lotus back. Now we can actually access our normal Yubel combos here, which is pretty cool. We're going to tribute off Lotus in order to special summon ourselves a copy of Spirit. Spirit on summon grabs us a copy of Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain pops Spirit to search for a copy of Gruesome Grave Squirmer. Spirit of Yubel summons OG Yubel from deck. Squirmer, summon itself, pop Yubel. Yubel effect a graveyard in order to summon the Terror Incarnate from deck. After that, we can perform a link summon here using Squirmer and Sequence. There's a couple different ways you go through this combo as well through this point. You can either go, obviously, for the Unchained line. You're always going to end on the Caesar line as well. But at this point, I usually go for the Muckraker, which has a better end board in my opinion. Muckraker, pitch any card from your hand in order to target your Engraver, summon it, and then perform a Xyz summon here for your Caesar. This now makes you immune to Nibiru, which is pretty cool. After that, we're going to Squirmer banish itself, summon our Yubel. Next up, we're going to perform a link summon yet again for Yama. Yama on summon will add ourselves a copy of Shavara. Shavara will then pop our Muckraker, summon itself. Then we're going to link these two off for a copy of Rage, of course. Shavara Engrave activates, which lets us set the trap directly from the deck. After that, we're going to recycle the Yubel and the Spirit into the deck in order to special summon ourselves the Phantom of Yubel. And passing to the opponent. This is honestly like a pretty decent end board. There's just a bunch of interactions plus whatever you have in your hand, be it hand traps or whatever. It's a pretty good end board. It is really cool that opening just allows us to actually start our plays if we don't open the Lotus, which is cool. It's a really interesting play. I quite like it a lot. This was possible before, but just now I feel like it's way more interesting, in my opinion. Just because we have the one Phantom, it feels more fair. But yeah, this deck is pretty cool, still playable. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Yeet.